Today we're talking to all you Christian parents out there who want to raise kids who grow up to continue to pursue God. What's the secret to doing this? Well, I think it actually can be found here in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 14. Paul says, "Then we will no longer be immature like children. We won't be tossed and blown about by every wind of new teaching. We won't be influenced when people try to trick us with lies so clever they sound like the truth." This is what happens to so many kids when they leave our homes. So what's the secret? Well, first, parents, I want you to wrestle with this. Most Christian kids grow up and leave the faith because we raise them to be consumers. Now, stick with me here. I just really want you to think about how it typically works in our Christian homes today. From 5 to 12, they go to Sunday school, which is great. They learn a lot of the Bible and they're being fed. They're being taught, right? That's Sunday school. Then they get into the youth group. If you've got a good church youth group, maybe they start going to youth on Wednesday nights. But once again, they're receiving teaching, they're being consumers. And so by the time they hit 18 and leave the house, who knows what's going to happen? That's why the stats are so staggering. So many kids who grew up in a Christian home go to college and they've never internalized their faith. And so for so many of them, they leave the faith and they never return. And the reason is, again, because the Bible teaches that we grow by discipling people. We don't grow by consuming. We grow by making disciples. We grow by getting in the game, but most of our churches sadly aren't set up to do this. Now back to Ephesians chapter 4. It says there in verse 12 that God's people are supposed to do his work and build up the church, and then we all will be mature in the Lord. In other words, if you study this passage, it says when God's people do the work, when they do ministry, that's when we all grow up. That's when we all mature in the faith. And that leads back to the text that we started with. When we do that, then we will no longer be immature like children. We won't be tossed and blown about. We won't be influenced when people try to trick us, which happens in college all the time, right? So the key, the secret to raising kids who pursue God is to make disciple making a thing at home. Parents, I really want you to consider this. And this is what Pursue God is all about. It's all about making disciple making a thing in your home so that parents, you become disciples, you disciple your kids, and you teach them and train them and empower them to disciple someone else. Now, let me sketch this out, right, to give you a visual to remember this with. In fact, this is a personal story because my wife and I started discipling people using the Pursue God tools. Then we started discipling our kids using the Pursue God tools, right? And there's training on how to do all of this if you go to our website and click on the train button. And the whole point then is our kids started becoming disciple makers too, not just consumers, but they've been discipling other people because we showed them how to and we modeled it in the home. And so now they're owning their faith at a whole new level. And that's the key to raising kids who continue to pursue God for the rest of their life, is make them disciple makers, not just consumers.